Your yellow cloudy headlights in 5 minutes for $5. Get this headlight, get it fixed forever. So let's get going. Firstly, let's see what I'm spending my money on. So altogether, I bought some tape here, $3.50 for a really wide roll. Some wet and dry abrasive paper, 400 and 120, and some enamel clear coat. Altogether, this cost me $8.50, and I've got a bottle of water here, an old cleaning bottle, just full of tap water. So that's what we got going on. As well as these things here, these items, you might even have some tape, but I recommend getting the wide tape. It makes life a lot easier. You might need some paper towel or some cleaning rags. I recommend you have at least one clean, dry, unused cleaning rag or paper towel. The rest is pretty easy. Okay, let's go. Here it is here, the yellow grade sort of cloudy headlight. Our first thing is to protect the paintwork. Yes, it's an older car with some of your paint chips, but I don't want to scratch up the paintwork and damage the clear coat. So I've bought some nice masking tape. This masking tape has a very low tack. It's not going to rip off the clear coat of the car. It's actually made for this job, so it's not overly sticky, but it protects very nicely. The headlight has a gap of about 1/4 of an inch, about 3 to 4 millimeters between the actual metal painted surface and the plastic headlight. So it's quite easy for me to locate the edge of the sticky tape right where the metal ends. So all I'm doing is trying to say, when I'm sanding, the sandpaper will go over the edge and it will not hit the paint, so no scratches. And when I go to spray paint the clear enamel paint onto the headlight, that's also not going to go onto the painted surface. I will want to protect some more of it, and I'll show you how I do that. So that's it, quite simply. It's worth taking that minute to do. Wet down your surface, not just the headlight, I'm also wetting around the car. So as the dust, as the granules that I'm sanding off flow off, they don't stick to the car, and also it helps with the painting. So here's the 120. I'm going up and down. So it's quite a nice, easy rounded surface to do. So I'm just going up and down, just make sure I have got edges there. So I was just trying to do the very top and very bottom edge, so I don't miss out. But this heavier grit, this 120 grit, is quite coarse, but it's just coarse enough to get into that oxidization layer that is like really, really thin surface on top. I don't need anything really heavy or to spend a lot of time doing it, because that oxidization layer is quite thin and it's loosely held onto the plastic. Just about done, but let's have a quick wash down of that. The grit is starting to clog up, so some more water cleans that off, gets all the grit moving, and I can just finish off with the up and down with 120. Around the corner is a little bit tricky there. So now it's time to switch to the 400. As you can see, I've used only 1/4 of the actual abrasive paper I bought. So there's more than enough left for the other headlight. So here I'm going left to right. You notice I went up and down with the first lot. This I'm going left to right. You notice that after a while, all the debris, all the dust that you're sanding off, you just wet in return, starts turning into a bit of a paste. So don't be afraid. The more water you use, the easier it is to go. You don't want it to gum up and paste up and clog up your abrasive paper. So 2.5 minutes in, 1 minute of taping, about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes of the actual abrading. Let's give it a good wet down. I'm able to have a look at it there, see where the scratches are, what it looks like. It doesn't look too bad. You can see with the extra water, it's running off the bumper bar, not sticking to the bumper bar so much, so it's easy to clean up afterwards. Just going over it one more time, having a quick look. It looks pretty good. So let's go and clean all this gunge off. Now I'm using an old cloth that's in my garage, so there's a highly likely that cloth has some oil or grease on it. So I'm just using it to get rid of the gunge. But because I haven't used a brand new clean cloth, I'll want to get rid of all that oil and grease. If you don't want to go through this step, instead of using this old cloth that I've used, use a brand new piece of paper towel or cleaning cloth that doesn't have that. I'm in a hurry, so I don't mind about that at all because I'm going to use some isopropyl alcohol. I'm just using this because I am in such a hurry. I've already used 4 minutes of my 5 minutes. The isopropyl alcohol will allow the water to evaporate so it's dry. If you don't have any of this, it doesn't matter. Make sure you use a clean dry cloth when you're cleaning it, and to give it a few minutes to dry off. It's a warm, light breeze today, so it doesn't take too long for it to dry, but that has just got rid of all the water off the headlight, ready to start painting. Obviously I don't want to get paint all over the car paint, so I'm just putting on some cleaning rags that I've got. You know, a bag of cleaning rags in the corner of the garage there, just have to go and get some more. And the wetness of the car that I've oversprayed is enough to make it stick down. I'm going to be spraying on the actual headlight. I go all the way around that. Now, I should put another piece on the inside, but I don't want to cover up the iPad so you can see the time. So I'm going to be careful and try not to spray that, but obviously one more bit of cloth on the front there would have been a good idea. So I'm carefully going around the edges, making sure I get all the edges first, and then working back and forth over the front. Now I'm racing. I've missed my 5 minute, but I'm going to call it 5 minutes. It's within 5 minutes. It's the 5th minute now. Up and down, left and right, round and round, thin coats, not big thick coats, and that's all it's taken. A couple of drops have hit my finger as I'm spraying and dropped onto the actual lens. I don't know if you can see them there. I could see them when I was doing them, but at the end they ran and thinned out. I've left it for 5 minutes because nothing worse than touching it after you've sprayed it. So I went away for 5 minutes, did the other side headlight, and then I came back and took the tape off. And you can see there, that's wiped down quite nicely. It's good, it's crystal clear, and it took 5 minutes. Thank you. Please like and subscribe so I can do more.